That's a mystery.
Imagine a tale of the sea so gripping and terrifying that it has still passed from crew member to this day. A mystery so electrifying that even a video game was based on the tale. Today, we are going to discuss the SS Ourang Medan. Hang out in seaside bars long enough, and you may hear the tale of the SS Ourang Medan, passed down from generation to generation by old sea captains and ship crew. Between the years of 1947 and 1948, during a hot and muggy day in June along the Straits of Malacca, a transmission was started. Loud beeps of distress signals are hitting machines on land and sea, interrupting the rather normal day. This transmission flew blindly and was picked up by multiple English, Dutch, and Indian ships, as well as other international listening stations. The two-part message, split between unintelligible Morse code, tried to make their message clear. The first: all officers, including the captain, are dead, lying in the chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead. After a few more minutes, I die. Then, nothing. As the minutes tick on, all the ships and listening stations begin to contact each other. Using their technologies, they are able to triangulate the distress signal's position, as well as the ship nearby. Records state that the ship was 400 nautical miles southeast of the Marshall Islands. The ship that was closest to the Ourang Medan was an American vessel called the Silver Star. This vessel was currently patrolling the edges of Malaysia and was only a few short hours away. They would be the ones to go and render aid to the distressed ship. When the SS Ourang finally did come into view, the captain and crew alike of the Silver Star immediately knew something was wrong. There was no crew attempting to wave them down or any other passing ships for help, and the bridge showed no signs of life or distress. On the calm seas of this hot day, there was no movement from the Ourang. As the Silver Star slowed to a stop, they attempted for the next few hours to make contact. They blew their whistles, they sent messages to the ship, they did whatever they could to catch the attention of the Medan and provoke a return message. As soon as they boarded the ship, they immediately knew that there was major trouble. Bodies littered the top deck of the ship. But it was more than just the bodies themselves that struck fear into the boarding crew. The grisly sight awaiting them was more than just horrific. Every single crew member was contorted and in the first stages already of decomposition. Their teeth were bared, their skin and lips pulled back. Their upturned faces pointing to the sun, staring off in fear of an invisible specter. Even the ship's dog met a gruesome end. It too was found with its jowls pulled back, foaming and baring its canines. The crew members continued through the ship, hoping to find at least one survivor. But every person they came across was in fact dead and in the same state as the rest. With little hope, they made their way to the transmission room, hoping that the person that had just sent the signal a few hours before may still have some signs of life. Well, they found the crew member, and he too was hunched over the table of the telegraph machine, deceased and with his finger still on the telegraph knob. Other crew members of the Silver Star made their way up from the boiler rooms. They too reported that it looked like the ship was merely turned off. The boiler room covered in bodies, and the ship was thus floating in the sea with no rhyme or reason. The captain of the Silver Star decided it was best to tow the Ourang Medan to land and to have it investigated further by the authorities to find out what truly happened to the ship and its crew. They boarded back onto the Silver Star, and his crew immediately got to work moving heavy tow lines, connecting the Medan to the back of the Silver Star. The engines were revved, and the ship began to pull the Medan towards land. This is when the crew from the Silver Star starts to realize that something's wrong. The Medan has smoke coming from the back of the ship. It almost looked like it was coming from the belly of the Medan. They couldn't see what the issue was or what might be causing it from the Silver Star. The captain, worried that the Medan may sink and take his own ship with it, called for the Medan to be cut free. The Silver Star crew jumps into action, immediately cutting the tow lines to save their own from the similar fate. As soon as the cut lines fall into the water, the Medan explodes. The crew of the Silver Star stated that the explosion was so great and the fire so hot that it actually sailed the Medan completely out of the water and into the air. It quickly fell back down to the water and to the depths of the Straits of Malacca. This is where the story ends, but it's also kind of where the story begins. The story had originated in a Dutch newspaper over the course of 3 articles and involved 2 photographs that we were unable to find. The name of the ship was never mentioned in the article, only the nautical location. The second and third articles were regarding the sole survivor, or supposed sole survivor, of the Medan. The survivor was named Jerry Rabbit, and he states he washed up on the shores of the Marshall Islands. He was in a boat with 6 dead men, apparently other crew of the Medan. Rabbit stated that he had joined the ship's crew in Shanghai, and that he realized he had joined a smuggling operation when 15,000 crates of unknown materials were loaded onto the ship in Costa Rica. During the trip, Jerry started to hear of other crew members complaining of stomach pains and other maladies. He started to worry. As soon as the men around him began to die, he set out to find out what the mysterious cargo they were carrying. One night, he hurried down to the cargo hold and snuck a peek into the cargo registry. He found out that the ship was carrying potassium cyanide, sulfuric acid, and nitroglycerin. Sure that the sulfuric acid had broken free and the fumes were killing his crew members, himself as well as 6 others stole a lifeboat and made for land. When he woke, he was the sole survivor. This mystery only deepens as Jerry Rabbit shows no proof of ever existing, and the only information ever recorded was from the newspaper that published the surviving story. One theory is that the Ourang was smuggling hazardous materials, such as cyanide. This was also 2 years that included multiple wars, and some suggest that they were carrying worn nerve agents that succumbed to the waste of fumes, which had escaped during transport. Lloyd's Register Group Limited is a technical and professional services organization and a maritime classification society. They show no records of the Ourang Medan, making many believe that this is complete fabrication. This registry has been keeping ship records of every vessel since 1764. More, no wreckage has ever been located. Recently, new evidence has come up after being found by the Skittish Library. This evidence shows that in the year 1940, a newspaper reported that there was an incident from the Associated Press and British newspapers, the Daily Mirror and the Yorkshire Evening Post. According to Vincent Gaddis, an author who wrote the book Invisible Horizons, Strange Mysteries of the Sea True Stories That Defy Logic in 1965, say that 5 times fast, there had been no reports of the ship. There was something mentioned in a story about a report of the issue and document proceedings, which is part of the reports for the U.S. Coast Guard. The report was finally located in Australia, but again, there was no information on the ship. This includes where it was from, where it left port, or any other identifying information, including captain and any crew members. The real question is, did the Ourang Medan even exist? And if it did, what truly happened on board? Theories persist from UFOs and government conspiracies to the Bermuda Triangle. The video game that was produced by the Dark Pictures franchise even suggested that they were carrying cursed cargo. What do you think happened to the Ourang Medan? Be sure to post your comments below and like and subscribe for more true terror stories.